you made with the drone, you made the house look like a castle, and it
Right.
like the feedback I heard was I saw the photo on Zillow and I had to stop.
Welcome back to the Modern Agent Podcast. My name is Logan Ricchetti with Modern Realty. This podcast is a combination of thoughts and opinions on the real estate market in Midland, Michigan with our local real estate agents from Modern Realty. Our mission is to create informed and confident buyer and seller clients, so tune in to learn more about Midland's real estate market.
Hey there, and welcome to the Modern Agent Podcast. My name is Brett. I'm a realtor at Modern Realty, and I had the pleasure of interviewing Marco. He's my real estate photographer and videographer, and I'm so excited to talk, to you and have you answer some questions.
I'll try to answer your questions.
Oh, good.
Keyword is try.
Hey. So first I want to talk about this amazing resource, the client roadmap.
Wait, what's the client roadmap?
Yeah.
I just saw that you rolled that out last week or something like that.
It's really cool. It talks about all the different services, systems, and technologies Modern has offered to our clients to help them sell their house quickly, efficiently, and to not give the seller any more headache, right? And so this roadmap outlines the roadmap for our buyer and seller. So
what's in it?
Yeah, so the buyer roadmap talks about the 6 steps, which is prepare, search, offer, finance, due diligence, and close. And then the one we're going to talk about today is
Don't hit the mic.
is the seller roadmap, which is set the stage, showcase, and prepare. And we're mainly going to talk about the prepare stage because that's where professional photography comes in. So, Marco, how does professional photography impact the value of a property?
Professional photography, it's the first thing people see when they're searching for homes, whether it's on Zillow, Realtor.com, or even if you as an agent send them the property listing.
Right.
And it can do wonders for someone's perceived value of the home. You can see there's hundreds of houses for sale. Right. How do you make your house stand out from the other one? They all have walls. They all might have really nice hardwood floor, really nice countertops, really nice cabinets, everything. But if one of your photos compared to another photo looks a lot brighter and nicer, people will see that house and think, "Oh, this house is really gorgeous."
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's so true because when you're swiping through Zillow, you're gonna overlook the ones that are dark or grainy because you want to see what the house has to offer.
You want to see what your eye is going to see when you walk into the house, which is not a dark, grainy cell phone picture.
Right.
Which actually leads me to a funny story I'll say real quick.
Yeah.
A few years ago when I was buying my house in Munger, the agent just posted cell phone pictures. And I kept overlooking the house. And I thought, there's nothing on the market out in the country. Let me just give this house a shot. Right. I go in and I saw the potential. But with those dark, grainy images, I couldn't see the potential.
Yeah.
Like physically could not see the potential because they were so dark. I couldn't tell what's the condition of the carpet or the walls or the flooring.
Right. Yeah, no, that's so true. So, how do you ensure that your photos tell a story about the property? Or sometimes you do some videos for me. How do you make sure that those, compel a story?
Storytelling is very hard, and that's what sets your photos apart from others, and as a photographer, apart from the hundreds or thousands of other photographers or anyone in the area. You have to make sure when you are taking pictures of the house, you shoot in a cohesive way as if you're walking through that door. Maybe you take a look to the left and see, oh, what's there? You maybe see the kitchen there. You guide the viewer because you have 20 pictures, let's just say, of a house.
Right.
You have to tell this whole house story and the layout if you're not doing a floor plan, which you can do digital floor plans. Super easy these days. But if you're not doing one of those floor plans, you have to tell the whole story and the layout and the flow of the house in these 20 pictures. And how do you do that? You do that by peeping into other rooms, so you make sure you know where the camera is.
Yeah.
And you can tell the layout because I've swiped through a lot of pictures and you're kind of confused maybe where you are.
Is that the kitchen or is that the bathroom?
Right. Is this the half bath? Or is this the living room?
Right.
Both great places to sit and spend some time. So I always try to walk people through the house and make sure to always keep a little snippet of each room if I can.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That way you don't get lost.
Yeah. And I have a little stat here. Are you ready for some stats?
I love stats.
So listings with professional photography, they actually sell 32% faster than those listings with photos from
Like
a
cell
cell
phones?
phone. Yeah. So it's really a cool stat. I have another really cool one.
So don't use your cell phones.
Yes, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Homes with professional videos, actually, you're going to be astounded at this number.
Are you sure?
Homes with professional videos receive 403% more inquiries than those without.
Wait, 403%?
Yeah, I saw that stat and I was like, no way. And then I did more research and that's correct.
So you're talking about like walkthrough videos?
Yes, walkthrough, or I'm utilizing TikTok, which I've been utilizing TikTok more and doing some
Because
walkthrough
I've
videos.
been trying to push you to do those short form videos.
Yeah, and I'll do that, for all of my listings, or because I want to market the house
Right.
the best way I can.
And kind of going back to your previous question with how do you tell the story of the house, like you said, if you only have like 20 pictures or
Right.
whatever, it is sometimes hard to get that visual of how the house is laid out, for example. But with the video, you can go from here and then you can totally pan, because you can only go so wide in a photo without making it like a fisheye look.
Yeah.
So with video, you can virtually essentially walk someone through the house.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And that kind of leads me to my next question is, how has social media changed the landscape for like videography or photography on your end of things?
On my end, it has been the number one marketing tool for me.
Yeah.
I post my pictures. I post short behind the scenes selfies.
Yeah.
Everyone loves taking a selfie with me when I do like an engagement shoot, a wedding shoot, or a house shoot, or whatever. Everyone is like, "Can we get the selfie? I see you do selfies. Can I get one?"
Right.
But so anyways, I post those. It shows my personality. It shows that I'm there. It shows that I'm out in the community. I'm doing things with real people in the community. So from a marketing standpoint, social media is amazing. It's my number one marketing tool. But as an agent, it's a really good tool to get people interested in your property that might be casually looking. So for instance, if they follow the Modern Realty Facebook or Instagram page, they might see one of the houses that you're posting. They might be considering moving soon, maybe in the next year or two, but not quite ready to jump the gun yet.
Yeah.
So by using that, and you're posting your listings not only on Realtor.com, the MLS, all those sites, you are also pushing it in front of people's social time.
Yeah.
Or doom scrolling time.
Right. And I will say, it's so true. People look on social media for, especially Modern Realty or my personal real estate page, to see what I have listing online. So social media really does play a big part in trying to sell a house.
But you also have to be careful on social media too. You can't just have your social media channel and just be salesy.
Right.
You have to almost not sell the product.
Exactly.
You have to just sell. You have to sell yourself and your personality on social media.
Right. And it's, I tell all my clients this, and I really believe it. Whenever I have a buyer consultation, I tell my buyers, right? I say, hey, I'm never going to sell you something. The house will sell itself.
Right. If they don't like the house, they're not going to buy the house. If they like the house, they're going to buy the house.
Right. And as much as, as salesy as I can get, I'm not a salesperson. I believe, I want to make sure that they make informed and confident decisions.
Right. Correct.
So, yeah. Really, you said you offer like the layout photos.
Yes.
Do you also, what have you found beneficial about virtual tours?
Are you talking about the video? Or?
Yeah, the virtual, like
virtual tour videos?
Yeah.
So those virtual tour videos are really kind of cool because I touched on it a little bit before, but there's only so much you can really get with photos. Right. But when you have the video, if you add on a video on top of your photos, you can really guide that person, especially how you want to guide them through the house. And you might open some half closets, for instance, that you might otherwise be a little awkward to photograph. There's a lot of hallway closets where like I open it and I'm like, I could show this here, but it kind of looks awkward in a photograph.
Yeah.
Or in a picture. But in a video, you could walk through, open the thing, close it real quick, and there's other elements of the home that you can highlight through video that you really might be a little bit awkward to highlight in a photo.
Yeah. No, that is so true. And so now I'm going to put you in the shoes of, in the shoes of a seller.
In the shoes of a seller. Okay.
Yeah.
Got my seller shoes on.
Yes. So let's say, I came to you and I said, hey, seller, I'm an agent, but I want to sell your house so much.
Okay.
I want to sell it so bad.
You want my house?
Yes. But I want to take, photos with my phone. What would your perceived perception be as the seller?
You as an agent come to my house and you're like, hey, want your house, but I just want to take pictures with my phone. I'm not going to hire a professional photographer.
Yeah. What would be your perceived, view on that? Remember, you're the seller, not the photographer.
I'm the seller. It depends. If I've recently been on the home search, maybe potentially even thinking about buying a home, and an agent comes up to me and says, I'm not going to do professional pictures. It's fine. We don't need it.
Yeah.
I would almost think like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why does my home not merit professional photos? It's almost like you're saying to the buyer, like, oh, your home isn't good enough for professional photos,
right,
or something, which is not true. Every home should have professional photos.
Yeah.
Because I've shot some investment properties,
right,
where when you walk through, like they definitely need to be renovated and updated.
Yeah.
But the professional pictures at least make it look inviting enough to come check out.
Right, exactly. And we're really, as realtors, right, we're offering a service to our clients, and that service needs to be top tier.
Right.
And that's why I love Modern Realty, because Modern Realty, they set a standard for selling houses. And that standard is, we're going to do it very professionally. We're going to hire professional photographers, and we're going to market your house the best we can. We're going to do walkthrough videos. We're going to have a professional photographer.
Drones.
Yep. Have a professional.
I love a drone. Anytime you're like, oh, we're gonna do this house, and you're like, oh, do you want to bring your drone? The answer is always yes.
Yes. And I've noticed that you get the best photos of the outside of the house with a drone.
Speaking of drones, you don't always have to have a property out in the country or in the woods or on a lake or anything to merit a drone photo.
Yeah.
If your property is in downtown Midland, downtown Bay City, whatever, it could still be a small lot. But if you kind of get that little elevation for that front shot, so when you're scrolling online, your photo looks a little bit different than the 20, 30, 40 other standard eye level shots.
Yeah.
It just gets a little bit up, and you're like, it stops your scroll, which is kind of the social media aspect of everything. Like, social media is all about stopping the scroll.
Yes.
Professional photos need to be scroll stopping.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of goes back to the storytelling from just, so that listing I had on North Meridian Road, it looked like a castle.
Yeah.
It looked like a castle.
That was so cool. I actually just posted those pictures on my website yesterday. Yeah. I finally got around to updating my website.
And you made, with the drone, you made the house look like a castle. And it, like, the feedback I heard was, I saw the photo on Zillow and I had to stop.
That is why you get professional pictures and you don't just use cell phone pictures.
Yeah.
I saw the photo and I had to stop.
And something I admire about your work is that
my work?
Yeah, something I admire about your work, specifically Marco, is so when we first met, you said, Brett, I don't put the fake sun or fake sky.
The sunset.
Right. Because you'll notice, like, a lot of photographers use the same cloud background behind the houses. And
yeah. Kind of a weird, so kind of going technical with that. Photoshop does default with some like sunny day skies, evening skies, stuff like that. And that one sky it fits most houses.
Yeah.
But the problem with that I found, And I'm fine with replacing the sky and everything.
Yeah.
That's no problem. It doesn't bother me. But when you put a sunset, but it's daylight out, unless you adjust the colors of the home to warm it up, darken the home a little bit, it kind of looks a little funky, a little awkward. So that's, I guess, the pro tip you didn't ask for. Is if you do the sunset sky replacement, make sure you darken the house and maybe warm up the house a little bit. That way it looks a little bit more cohesive. You can still have the harsh, like 1 o'clock, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. sun coming in.
Right.
That's fine. You can't go crazy doing these images.
Yeah.
But just make sure, like, if you do that, you darken the house and make it a little bit more warm to make it match.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the tip you didn't ask for.
Hey, I love it. Tip of the day. And something else I like, I love about working with you is there's been times where we went into houses where the owners were there.
Yeah.
And you're just so genuine about, making sure that they feel comfortable with you in their house.
Of course, because photography, no matter what it is, weddings, families, pets, real estate, it's not about the photos. You want the overall experience to be great because, like I mentioned before, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of photographers in every city, no matter what the size. So as an agent and as a photographer, you want to elevate that experience and make everyone as comfortable and as happy and just as great as possible.
When, every seller sells for a reason.
Correct.
And some of the reasons might be kind of hard for them.
Yeah.
And so you kind of want to meet, I want to meet people where they are. And to have you come in, and that might be hard for them to see their house.
Their family home, it's been in their family for 50, 60, 70, maybe even 100 years.
Right.
It's going on the market because maybe they got a job somewhere else. It might not be a want to sell. It might be a need to sell.
Yeah.
So when I go in, I'm like, hey, I'm taking pictures of your baby, of your life.
Yeah.
And like just to me, it's the first experience or first time walking to the house. So to me, I have no emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure if it's a want sell or a need sell or anything in between, that the owner of the home has just a wonderful experience because sometimes it can be hard. Sometimes it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Sometimes like, we're moving to Florida. And it's like, oh, I'm jealous.
Right. Yeah, I love that. And so what are some of your tips, right? So when sellers are getting ready to move,
Yes.
what are some of your tips for them? I'm like, should they declutter? Should they paint?
For prepping for photos?
Yeah.
Painting is a here and there. If the whole house needs to be painted, I say potentially skip it unless it's all lime green
Right.
or something like that, or dark blue.
Yeah.
Although dark blue can look really nice sometimes.
It can.
Decluttering as much as possible. If you're still living in the home, you have the adults, 2, 3, 4 kids.
Yeah.
There's a limit of how much you can do without going crazy.
Yep.
There was one house that I went into, both parents, 4 kids, all under 10, spotless.
Wow.
I was amazed. But they were like, oh, we cleaned for the whole entire day before this. But yeah, I would say declutter as much as you can without going too crazy, and if possible, have a room that maybe you can put some stuff in, especially if you're living there. If you're not living in the home and you already moved to your next home, apartment, or whatever, I say try to keep it empty.
Yeah.
But if you can't, that's totally fine. It doesn't really bother me a ton. I know I'll help the homeowner out.
Yeah.
You'll help the homeowner out. We'll go room to room and declutter. We'll spend double the time there.
Yeah.
If the photos turn out great.
Absolutely.
If it's great for marketing, if it's great for the photos, we'll spend the time to move things out of the picture.
Absolutely. And every consultation I tell my clients, when you're getting ready to sell, these are the 3 things I say. I say declutter, depersonalize, and minimalize. The reason I say minimalize is you're going to move anyway, so why not start now, right? So why not start boxing things up and getting it at least in the garage?
Yeah.
And why depersonalize? Well, I say depersonalize because if you're a buyer walking into a house, you want to picture it as
As your
house.
own house, correct.
And it's hard to visualize your new house when you see photos of, a baby that is no relation to you, right? Or grandma and grandpa over the, fireplace looking at you.
Yeah. Although sometimes I do like it when there's furniture in the house.
Absolutely.
And that kind of leads to another point of virtual staging.
Yes.
Are you a fan of virtual staging, or would you rather take pictures of an empty room?
Yeah. So actually, I offer to all my clients, I say, hey, there's a benefit in home staging, whether that be virtual or, actually get a couch in there.
Yeah.
There's a benefit to it because buyers then can visualize that's a perfect place for a couch.
Right.
Right. And so
And they can envision it more than just an empty room. They can envision it more just like, oh, it's a home.
exactly.
This is a home. Because a house is a house. A home is what you make it.
Yeah.
As
Home
they
sweet
say, I
home.
think. Home sweet home. Home is where you park it. No.
Right. So, really the virtual staging does, again, it ups the perception of, wow, this agent really went above and beyond because virtual staging isn't free. Home staging isn't free, but to my clients, it is. That's an expense
Right.
that I take on.
Exactly.
And I like to make sure that all my clients know that any marketing done, right, the photography, videography, home staging, getting it cleaned, like deep
Professionally
cleaned,
cleaned. Yeah. Deep
I will
cleaned.
pay for.
Right.
That's an expense that I incur, not my seller, because I want this process of them moving to be painless, smooth and painless, and I want them to know that I'm rooting for them and that I'm going to work in their best interest to get the house sold for the most amount of money.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I take pictures, they're wide angle. They're wide angle. They're bright and light
Yeah.
and everything. You don't see the dirt in the pictures.
Right.
Hopefully. But you don't see the dirt in the pictures. But when you do get in the house, if it's dirty,
Yeah.
that might be like, oh, these pictures deceived us.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads me to a point where I will never deceive
No,
a house.
don't.
I won't take a house that needs to be completely gutted or demolished or whatever and make it look like a gorgeous mansion.
Right.
That's something I won't do. I've had homeowners when I go into the house with the agent, they're like, hey, there's a hole in the wall. Like there's no doorstop and the door opened and made a hole in the wall in the drywall. And he's like, oh, hey, can you fix that? And I have to tell him, I'm sorry, I can't because I'm not going to make your house, improve your house in Photoshop.
Right. Because then you get there and you're like, what is the, hole in the wall, rats in the bathtub? Like, what is this? This wasn't in the photos.
Right, exactly. I've gone into houses when I was looking at investment properties.
Yeah.
That pictures look great, everything. I get into the house and then you notice, oh, this isn't clean. This is kind of,
Yeah.
oh, I think the pictures deceived us, and you just don't want the pictures to deceive your listing.
Absolutely.
I want to showcase and highlight the best features of your home to the best that I can, but I don't believe I don't think it's ethical to make a home look better than it is.
Right.
Because then you're deceiving buyers. Not only does that, it kind of sucks for the buyer.
Yeah.
It's not great for your reputation either.
No.
If you're showing houses, a $200,000 house, and they walk in, oh, this isn't great, and then you don't want to.
Yeah.
So one tip that I tell homeowners, and I like to tell agents to tell their sellers is, let's just say there's a hole in the wall from a door opening. Get like one of those little plastic door patches.
Yeah.
It covers it up. And it fixes the problem. It physically fixes the problem, not just in Photoshop.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I really like that. So let's say you're shooting a house, that has an attic, a nice attic.
Is it finished?
Unfinished.
Unfinished, but walkable?
Walkable, but the lights don't work. How do you capture that?
The lights don't work in the
Yes.
attic. Oh, no. Well,
That's a fun question.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there in an attic where it's clean, it's walkable, but there's no lights. There's a couple different ways. So how I take photos, I shoot in a 5-bracket system. So I shoot everything from super dark, underexposed, all the way up to very, very overexposed. And that very last overexposed picture, if you're in a dark attic, it can be like a 10, 20, almost sometimes even 30-second exposure.
Yeah.
So that will just let in any little bit of light that is there.
And our phones won't do that.
No. No, they will, but not great.
Yeah.
And then you have to hold it very still, because if you have to hold your phone for 30 seconds, you're going to start to move and wiggle a little bit. But another way you can do it is with flash.
Yeah.
If you want to.
And it's something I admire about your work, and because I've had multiple photographers that I've tried out, and you're the one I stuck with, because you don't use a flash necessarily at all during your photos.
Right, and
what's the reason for that?
So there's some photographers, some real estate photographers who are like always use flash, and others who don't, and it's really down to a personal preference.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't use it is because I feel that there's a big blob of light right here, and then sometimes, not all the time, depending on the house and the other lighting situation, and also your use of the flash, it sometimes can make the very far back look a little dark.
Yeah.
Sometimes. That's generally why I don't use flash. If the house is really, really dark, I will. But I usually the houses are pretty well lit.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell agents or homeowners or whatever, let's shoot late morning or early afternoon. Why do I say late morning or early afternoon? One, because there's no harsh sunrises or sunsets or anything, especially for the exterior.
Right.
The exterior is really hard to capture, especially now in the fall, even mid-afternoon, because that sun is so far down, and any trees cast a really hard shadow. So you have really, really harsh highlights and then really, really harsh shadows, which can be evened out in post, but it's still better to capture a better image to begin with.
Absolutely.
So, and then on the interior, so 10 a.m. is my favorite time to shoot.
Yeah.
The sun's up, but it's still kind of coming in the window. So it's still beaming in,
Yeah.
but there's not super harsh beams of light coming in.
Yeah.
So
it's more earthy too. It's more natural of a photo.
Right. It's a little softer.
Yeah.
It's a little softer feeling. So real estate photographers that use flash, don't come at me.
And so I always try to be so accommodating to my clients, right? People have busy lives.
Yes.
Life is busy.
Life is so busy.
Like, it is insane sometimes. And I always try to meet my clients where they are, right? And so when it comes to photography, I love how you're so flexible to say, hey, seller, when are you going to be, on vacation?
Right.
Perfect. While you're gone, let us do the work.
Yeah.
Let us tag team this and get your
Exactly.
photos done, get all the marketing we need. And we'll do I'll do open houses on the weekend while you're gone. So it really works well, especially for people who have a busy schedule. For photography things, do you think that works out the best? Is like when they have plans and they're like, we're going to be gone this weekend.
I do. Because even though you can try your best to stay out of photos, the more people you have in the home, the harder it just naturally is. A lot of times the dog walks in front.
Yeah.
I've been shooting a bedroom, and out of the door into the hallway, a dog just goes pew, right. And at the time I didn't notice until I got home, because he's a small little dog. I didn't really notice him go by. And I get home, I'm like, there's a little blur there, but there's only so much you can do. And then also it's also beneficial to do it maybe while you are on vacation, or maybe while you are at work, because then we're not inconveniencing you.
No. Yeah.
You can go about your daily life, go in and take pictures.
Yeah.
And it's done.
I always
3, 2,
like to
1, done.
say, I always want to be that ninja.
The ninja.
Right?
The real estate ninja.
Yeah, I want to help you, as much as I can, but I also don't want to be an inconvenience.
Right.
I want to be the agent that, you asked me a question. I already took care of the photography.
Right. And every time someone, just this weekend, I had a for sale by owner contact me to do pictures. And instead of being, I can only come these days, right? I asked them, when's the most convenient time for you? Yeah. And if obviously my schedule allows for it, great.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to, because they weren't living at the house at the time. They've already moved. So I wanted to make sure, oh, they're there maybe taking some boxes out, or there are a few belongings. Oh, let me come by for a half hour, 45 minutes and get pictures for you.
And something I've noticed is, like, for sale by owners, I love for sale by owners. Mainly not just for the photography, but I love meeting them where they are, and and they want to sell their house for the, they don't want to pay a ton of money, to pay a realtor.
Right.
But I love for sale by owners because I just want to help them. I don't care how much I make. So there's been a time actually where I talk to a for sale by owner and I say, hey, do you have your disclosures? Do you have, the documents you need? And they're like, what is it?
They don't understand, like, oh, there's more than just here, sign, let's go to a title company Friday.
Yeah.
And you give me the check, I give you the keys.
And I yeah, exactly. I want to help my for sale by owner sellers any way I can, even if it's, hey, for sale by owner, let me come just walk through your house and give you an estimate of what your house might be worth. Because a lot of the time they don't know what their house is worth. And I will run an analysis and say,
They might
hey,
be 2 over, 2 under, or they might short sell themselves.
absolutely.
I've seen that a lot on for sale by owners where, $300,000 house, but then I kind of go and look and like, you could get a little more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you have to spend a little bit more money with the realtor to make more money.
Right.
Because
But the process will be super simple.
Yeah.
Super easy. You're taking care of everything.
yeah,
Just like when you have a realtor, they have the photographer. You don't have to go and find the photographer. Maybe wait to hear back from them,
right.
or something. You don't have to message like a ton of them and be like, "Hey, are you available?" This, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not available." Like, they hire one person and you delegate the tasks, like the photography, the cleaning,
Absolutely.
maybe virtual staging, showings.
And a lot of things that
Showings.
cost yeah, exactly. And
Yeah, can you walk me through the showing process? Because so the for sale by owner obviously doesn't have like a showing platform to use.
So I was actually going to talk about that. So for sale by owners, when they want to sell by themselves, they have to do all the work.
Right.
Like we just said, people are busy, right?
Yeah, very busy.
And so they're living their normal life, but also trying to be, in a sense, their own realtor.
You have to come at the drop of a hat to someone wanting to see your house.
Right. So showings for sale by owners, they have, like, the owner has to show the house.
Correct. Yeah.
And a lot of the time, like, I'm going to be honest with you, 89%. 89% of buyers want to be represented
Okay.
by an agent.
Okay.
So sometimes for sale by owners will say, we're not going to pay a buyer agent.
Right. Okay.
Like, we don't want to pay anything. And that really makes your pool of buyers go down a
Smaller.
lot. And I will say also, when you go onto Zillow.com, this is probably going to be
Good
copyrighted.
old Zillow.
But if we go to Zillow.com,
Everyone loves Zillow. We all love Zillow.
It only shows you houses listed by an agent.
Really?
And then you have to toggle over to for sale by owner.
So it doesn't default to for sale by owner?
No. And so you'll
didn't
look
know
at
that.
the number of saves is a lot lower for sale by owners than if it's listed by an agent.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're saving some money, but it's also going to take more time, more, your own money to sell by yourself. An agent will take care of a lot more than you think.
Speaking of like Zillow and those kind of like social platforms for houses,
Yeah.
social media for houses, I saw recently that if you do the floor plan on Zillow, like the premium floor plan, I'm not
Yeah.
sure exactly
It's
the
showcase.
term. Yeah, showcase. You can put exactly on the floor plan where your camera is, and it shows like a little radar of where the camera is focusing.
Yep.
And which goes back to the how do you walk someone through a house in pictures?
Yeah.
How do you tell the story of the house? Because a lot of times people get lost. But if you hire an agent, professional photographer, you get that floor plan. You can get that little radar of where the camera. Oh, I'm looking into the half bath here.
Yeah, and that's the added benefit of using an agent, because agents know how to sell houses, and we know how to bump your house on Zillow to the top. And using Showcase is one of those, pieces of, one of those tools in our tool belt to boost your listing to the top, along with beautiful photos that just make your house stand out. Can you describe how professional images, influence a buyer's decision-making process?
I think professional images show that the agent cares.
Yeah.
I think it shows that they put the effort in to having someone do what they're good at.
Yeah.
You're good at selling. You're good at the home buying process. I'm
Right.
good at taking. You're giving. It all goes back to that experience.
Yeah.
You could pick any agent. You can get any agent, any brokerage. Why am I going to choose you? You have to give them that whole experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it really influences them and makes them. It has that like good feeling that you're being taken care of. Like when you go to a doctor, like they're gonna take care of you. They're gonna fix you. They're gonna get you in the door. They're gonna crack your back, crack your neck, whatever you want to do. Open you up, do some open heart surgery, and get you on your merry way, easy peasy.
Because I mean, kind of an analogy is like, I'm a realtor, right? But you don't go to a dentist to get your back fixed, right? So you don't go to the realtor and be like, take photos of my house. No, the realtor will refer you to a photographer or have a photographer come out and take professional photos.
And the homeowner doesn't have to do anything.
Nothing.
They hire one person, and you take care of everything.
Yeah.
It's that experience from beginning to end.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say to buyers who are, kind of looking for an agent? What would you say about modern agents or modern realty in a whole?
I would say that modern agents, everyone that I worked with goes that extra mile, that extra step that it's rare. Anyone really to go that extra step. And everyone that I've met at Modern, you in particular, they go that extra step, like that castle house on Meridian. I texted you the day before we were supposed to do the photos, and you're like, "Hey, I'm out here helping the owner paint the garage."
Yeah,
you were painting the shiplap siding on the garage because it was a little weathered over the years.
Yeah.
So you helped refresh and modernize.
Right.
See what I did there?
I
You helped refresh and get that person's house ready for pictures, ready for showings.
Yeah, because I know that my sellers are busy and they have a lot to do, and it's not always the top of their mind to paint and trim around their garage. So I want to, be that agent that goes the extra mile and help them reach their home ownership goals.
Right.
And so if I need to paint a deck, I will. If I need to paint trim around the garage, I will. And what's really nice is I love to walk with my clients to the closing table, and then even after, because I like to help them move. Just as a thank you for letting me help them.
Yeah,
I like to help them actually move into their new house.
Do you?
So there's been times where I'm like, hey, can I come over and help you guys move? And they're like, you do that? And I was like,
it's kind of like whoa, why?
Yeah, and I say, why? Because I enjoyed working with you,
right?
And I enjoyed, helping you hit your, home ownership goals.
And that just goes back to the whole experience, enjoying working with the people who you're working with, enjoying working with your agent, enjoying working with your photographer, making them feel, me as a photographer, making the homeowner feel comfortable, or making a new agent that I've never met before feel very comfortable working with me, and that trust and just the kindness, it goes wonders.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
Awesome. Well, Marco, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
answering all my questions I have.
Oh, thank you.
To you watching, thank you for just being with us and talking about the benefits of professional photos, video, home staging, and all that good stuff. And if you're ready to, make a move or achieve your home ownership goals, give Modern Realty a call.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Modern Agent Podcast. Please follow at Modern Realty Midland on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you need to buy or sell a house, please reach out to Modern Realty by going to www.modernrealty.us. Modern Realty, your home, our focus.